What's up, everyone? Is this sweater, is it too tight? It feels too tight, and I don't know about the color. Whatever, let me know. Today, we're on Reddit again, because that's all I do anymore. No, I'm gonna do a fun video next week, I promise. We're on Reddit's r/ask Reddit, and the question is, what is your Tinder horror story? And nothing ever goes right with Tinder. I met a couple on the weekend, they were on Hinge, 2 years, been dating. Tinder, you'll never find that. But we'll just hop straight into it. It ended up being a double date with his mom and her OkCupid date. He told me that he and his mom were a package deal. I was mortified and there was no second date. What? What's OkCupid? What's that for? Is that for older couples? Dude, what's that one horror movie where the guy pretends to be his mom because he's literally a psycho? I think it's called Psycho. And it has the girl in the shower scene and he almost kills her and it's crazy. That's what that feels like. And you should definitely run from that. Oh, this one looks good. I went on a date with this guy who I didn't really have anything in common with, but thought I'd give him a shot anyways. We met up at a bar, and he had already pounded 2 pitchers of beer, but he was completely sober, at least from what I could tell. No shot you're sober from 2 pitchers of beer. We hung out, talked, and although he seemed nice enough, I wasn't quite feeling it. I wanted to leave, but he convinced me to go to another bar to get one last drink. Seeing as it was only 8 p.m., I agreed to one more drink. How is this guy 2 pitchers deep at 8 p.m.? Where were you? Did he eat? You're telling me he was there for hours just having pitchers by himself before you showed up? We were sitting at the bar and a couple was making out next to us. He looked at me and asked what I thought people in the bar would do if he and I started making out. What a smooth move. Hey, look at those people. They're making out. What do you think people would do if we started making out? Nobody would do anything. They don't care. I knew where this was going. I tried to laugh and make some joke about no one paying attention. He then insisted that we should make out. I nervously laughed and told him that wasn't a very good idea and excused myself to the restroom. I came back to a seat and he had a shot waiting for me and insisted I drink it. No shot for him, just me. Oh, that's sketchy. That is probably the sketchiest thing you could do. Like, if you're trying to drug a girl, why would you give her a shot and not take one? I declined and he got really upset at me and said he was ready to go. At that point in the evening, he had consumed 2 pitchers of beer, 4 margaritas. Who goes from drinking beer to margaritas? What a guy. I was just feeling a couple margs. And 2 more points, yet displayed no sign of being intoxicated. He probably did a lot of cocaine. Nonetheless, I knew there was a lot of alcohol in his system and asked if he thought it was a good idea for him to drive. Oh, he was driving? Off the margs? He got extremely defensive and said he was fine. We exited the bar and he took off in the opposite direction. When I got home, I texted him just to make sure he was okay because he had so much to drink. His response, I only date girls I fuck on the first date. Dodged a bullet with that one. Dude, I just can't get over the margs. Like, that's what you switch to? I can't believe somebody let that guy drive, man. Off the margs. Guy was hustling. And he tried to drug you. Yeah, what a terrible guy. You should name him. I went on a Tinder date a couple months ago. On a Sunday afternoon. Met up with the guy around 3. He had a really good energy and was funny and complimentary. The place we wanted to go had a long line. So we went to another restaurant on the water for a drink and appetizers. Smooth move. Smooth move. On the water? Ooh. I wonder how many Mars you're going to have it. He started slamming down Mai Tais. Oh, he's a Mai Tai guy. Hold the Margs. Get me a Mai Tai. I had 1. He had 3. They were strong. Like, I was tipsy. Borderline drunk off 1. The bar had a 2 Mai Tai per person limit. But he found another bartender to get us there. What kind of bar has that limit? What do you mean there's a limit on the Mai Tais? The Mai Tais are too fun, guys. We can't have you having too many. He got drunker and drunker and started telling me he loved me. That's something I would do. I would do some shit like that. Like, oh, I love you. Joking at first, but getting increasingly serious. Okay. As we left, he asked me to marry him. No way. I kind of laughed it off and was like, maybe we take it slow. We just met each other. And he got mad. He stormed off and left me on a street corner. Then as soon as he got home, it was 5 p.m. He started texting me, come over, and I miss you. He was 43. Jeez. That's what the Mai Tais will do to you, eh? Have you texting, come over at 5 p.m. You guys were having lunch? Who's slamming Mai Tais at lunch? It was a Sunday afternoon. Oh, I didn't even notice that part. You guys were slamming Mai Tais at lunch on a Sunday afternoon? What a poorly planned date. I wonder what he would have done if you said, I'll marry you. I wonder if he would have gone through with it. Because I know in my mind, off the Mai Tais, I would have went through with it. He told me he's not gay, but he prefers to have sex with men and prefers to be on bottom. Sounds pretty fucking gay to me. I asked if he was bi and he said no. I'm straight. I just like getting fucked in the ass. And then he asked me if he could pee in my butt because he always wanted to try it, but he won't top guys, so he can't find out how it feels. He's the head football coach of a private college in my state, and that made it even weirder somehow. Just want to add in that I'm a woman and not gay man at all. Dude, that is insane. I think it's kind of like priests, you know? How priests are like secretly gay because they have to be so man. I guess priests don't have to be man. Why are priests all secretly gay and child molesty? A private football coach kind of makes sense because they have to be so manly all the time that if they're even the slightest bit gay, it's going to come out eventually in like a secret way. Kind of like the dad, Cal from Euphoria. Went on a date with a girl off Tinder and we hit it off okay. No real chemistry, but figured I'd never see her again. Next night she texts me and tells me she's at a bar near me for her birthday that I should come through. I figure why not? And meet up and end up having a great time. She's super chatty and there's definitely something there that wasn't there the night before. After a few hours, she tells me we should go back to my place. Why the hell not? We're talking the entire cab ride and she's coherent and fine. We get to my place and she opens the door and face plants onto the street. She has somehow got blackout drunk during the 10-minute cab ride. Dude, that's terrible because now you got to take care of her. Like, you think I want to take care of you? At this point, she is incoherent and can't tell me where she lives. So I pick her up and walk her on the block to my place of three flights. That's the hardest thing to say. And settle her in my room. I don't feel okay sharing a bed with her when she's like this. So I leave her some water and put a trash can by the bed, just in case, and start to leave the room and head to the couch. That's a great man. All right? All you who say all men are trash, that's a great man. I hear something as I get to the door and turn back in time to see her roll off my bed, hit her neck on the corner of the trash can, and slam on the door. Oh, is she dead? Oh, no, I hope she doesn't die. She then starts painting the walls like a sprinkler, like with blood. Is she dead? I just watch it happen for a minute. I can't do anything. Once she stops, I pick her up and take her to the bathroom. She starts round 2 as I go back to my room and start cleaning up. After a few minutes, I go on, check on her, and she's passed out in my toilet. At this point, she's completely immobile, and I can't get her up. She has become 50 pounds heavier, so I grab a pillow, put her in my lap, and resolve to sleep in the bathroom with her, worried my roommate might stumble onto her in the middle of the night. After a few hours of rough sleep, she wakes me up and tells me she needs to use the washroom. I leave her and let her do her thing. After about 15 minutes, I get worried and go to knock on the door, only to find it ajar. I push it only to be confronted with a wall of stink. She passed out on my toilet while taking the most obscene shit, and her head is now jammed between the toilet back and my sink somehow. I managed to get her head free, but she is out. I can't do anything. I can't get her up, and I can't wipe her ass for her. So I leave and go to the couch. Oh, that's so gross. After a few hours, I hear her get up and go to my bed. I check in on her and she is out, fully clothed in my bed and covered in puke still. Defeated, I go back to the couch. I have to work early in the morning, so I go check on her around 7 a.m. only to find out she's gotten her period in my bed. That's upsetting. I leave her $10, a t-shirt and jeans, and directions to the nearest laundromat. Why jeans? That's what you left her, jeans? Like, come on, man. Jeans? Anything else? Shorts? Sweatpants? You think this girl had the roughest night of her life in a stranger's house and she wants to leave in jeans? She texted me later apologizing and we went on another date and ended up sleeping together. You are dude, you must be the nicest guy in the world. Because for you to deal with all this and then the girl texts you and say, hey, we're going to go on another date, and you to say, yeah, can I get my jeans back? Is just a new level of like, hey, I'm a great person. It only becomes painfully clear to me that later she was probably roofied by someone at the bar and I should have gotten her medical attention. Oh. Fast forward 4 years, I go to a holiday party for my girlfriend's company and she's there. Turned out she's dating one of my girlfriend's client. She doesn't recognize me and I don't make an attempt to remind her. The last part was just unnecessary. There was no added content. If you didn't fucking talk to her about the incident, there's no point in telling us about that part. Either way, that's crazy. You're the nicest guy in the world, bro. I hope your whatever girlfriend you have now is a great person to you, because you are amazing. Except for that you gave somebody who had their period jeans, okay? Work on that one. Get some sweatpants from Walmart. I matched with a girl and sent lots of messages. Later that night, we talked on the phone and the conversation was going really well, so I asked her to go out the next night. She agreed, and then 5 minutes later, she tells me that she needs to tell me something. She tells me that she's permanently in a wheelchair, so I'm either an a-hole if I back out now or an a-hole if I lead her on. Oh no. I figure, why not? It's just a date, and it could be fun still sometimes. I'd be down for it. I feel like I would want to ride, like, hey, can I get in the wheelchair? I hope it's one of those motorized ones. It's just a date and could be fun time still. We talk more that night and go to bed. The next morning, she calls me early and tells me she's doing something crazy. She won't tell me what, but she said she'll show me later. A few hours go by, and she calls me back and tells me that she's going to send me a pic of what she did. I check my messages and I see a picture of her wrist with my name now tattooed on it. Oh my God. We end the call. Wow. We end the call and I immediately tell my friends about this crazy girl. Dude, you gotta run because you're gonna die. Later that night, I'm about to drive to her place because I figure she can be committed enough to tattoo my name on her. I should be committed enough to go on this date? No. If you see that she put your name on her wrist, you run. I should be committed enough to go on this date? You should be committed enough to leave this girl is what you should be doing. Plus, I have to know if it's real. I'm almost at her place and I realize that my car may not accommodate her wheelchair, and I know she drives, so I ask her if she can drive us. How do you drive in a wheelchair? I'm walking in the parking lot and she drives up and I get in the car. Now I had to figure out she had a handicapped enabled car. Nope, turns out she just uses 2 crutches to drive, one on the gas and one on the brake. I don't like this as we're driving on the Southern California freeway in traffic. We go eat and she gets a phone call from her daughter. Turns out she left her 10-year-old daughter at home alone and she's scared. I'm like, hey, we can go. But she's like, no, it's okay. I gave her something to make her sleep and she'll be asleep soon. Oh, this girl's just psychotic. So we finish up and I was going to take her to see a movie, but the kid thing was too much. So we head home and my fingers are already crossed and we make it when she turns to me while driving and says, wow, I'm kind of drunk. In my head, I'm like, 1 drink is all you had. But I ask if I can drive and she's like, no, she's going to get in the fast lane and uses her crutches to hit the gas. I say my last prayer, but we made it back to her place, so I wheeled her back to her door, said goodbye, and lived. Tattoo was real, though. I guess she was in a wheelchair and probably were like, oh, I got to, but the tattoo thing really should have pulled you off. Because I don't know who gets a picture of their name tattooed on somebody else before even meeting and then just says, yeah, I'll go on a date with you. Talked to him for 2 weeks before we went out and no red flags, so we ended up going out to dinner. I said I hadn't been out in a while because I was trying to save money for a washer and dryer. He told me instead of saving for that, I should save for a boob job. Yeah, you don't need to have clean clothes, but you need to have bigger boobs. I didn't even know how to reply, so he followed up with, no, it's not a bad thing. My sister and mom both had small tits and got boob jobs and they look amazing. What a weird thing to say. What a fucking weird thing. This is all before the waitress even brought our drinks. I just got up and left. Yeah, good for you. Because any guy who's talking about their sister and mom's boobs looking good probably has a fucking issue. I have one. One time I went on a date with a girl. Probably the only real first date I've been on. When I picked her up, I said, she was a foodie. I said, do you want to get Thai food? We had agreed on Thai food. I'm like, oh, do you want to go to this place? It was called Pho de Bo. And she's like, oh, actually, that's Vietnamese food. That's not Thai food. And I was like, oh, what's the difference? And the only difference is the type of marinade they use. And then we're eating. I would be talking and I'd ask her a question and I'd say, so what kind of what kind of food do you like? Like, do you like steak? And she'd be like, yeah. That's all she would say. And I would just stare at her. And then we'd just stare at each other. And I would keep having to come up with questions. And then I'd say a question. What kind of movie do you like? Horror. And then I'd laugh. And she's like, what's funny? And I was like, you are? And then, you know what she did? She said, I wasn't talking. And I was like, this is ridiculous. Anyway, I hope you guys had some laughs. I think this one was fun. People going on dates and people make the stupidest decisions. Hope you guys had some laughs. If a girl gets a tattoo or a guy gets a tattoo of your name before you meet them, don't go on a date with them. And don't give a girl jeans after she had her period. That's just a terrible decision. Anyway, yeah, like and subscribe. Peace out.